Whatever, and for Donald Curry, I would expect to see him either maybe try for a rematch or possibly look to move up into the junior middleweight. Well, one fighter who has fought as a junior middleweight and as a middleweight is Tommy the Hitman Hearns. And of course, he's got a big fight upcoming against Doug Dewitt. Might be an appropriate time for us to take a look at Tommy Hearns.
Steward calls Tommy the Elvis Presley of boxing because win or lose, he's always exciting. With a 42-2 record, it's almost always been winning, like this dismantling of Roberto Duran. The power of Tommy Hearns is always the story when he steps into the ring. He's against Doug Dewitt. Dewitt is a Yonkers, New York fighter who looked to be on his way to a title of his own while notching a series of wins in 1984 and 85, many here on ESPN. But losses to Robbie Sims and this one to Milton McCrory have tarnished his star. He's got a chin of granite, but he hopes to get his offense going again when he takes on the hitman, Tommy Hearns. Well, we are back here at the Showboat, and that fight, of course, between Doug Dewitt and Tommy Hearns will be coming up next Friday. And there's a couple gentlemen with more than a passing interest in that bout. Bob Arum, the chairman of Top Rank Inc., and Emanuel Steward, who, of course, is the manager and trainer of Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns, Bob, is a fighter who, it seems, is always marketable because of that power and because of the excitement. I alluded to the fact on the tape that Emanuel calls him the Elvis Presley of boxing, and he's facing a guy who doesn't go anywhere. You can't knock him out.
Well, yeah, but you can't tell it from the promos you guys have just done because, you know, Tommy's won most of his fights, and why, when you're showing what a great fighter he is, show him with the two losses to Hagler and Leonard. Tommy Hearns is one of the great fighters in the world today, and Doug Dewitt has also won some splendid fights over some top competition, and that should be a great fight. But first, I really want to apologize to the Top Rank boxing fans for what's happened tonight, because we've had a wonderful night of exciting boxing here at the Showboat. Too bad you haven't seen any of it. And too bad you're not seeing the kind of fights that we're putting on with all the time you've been wasting with Ringside Review and the other features.
Well, that may be a discussion for another time. In any case, we are talking about the Thomas Hearns Doug Dewitt fight. Emanuel Steward is with us. Emanuel, let me ask you about Tommy as it relates to the last fight he had against Mark Medell. That was a fight in which some people criticized him because he couldn't put Medell away. He had him hurt early, hurt his right hand. How is his right hand, and how is his outlook as far as getting people out of there?
Thomas's right hand is okay. It was just a problem of us wrapping it too tight. In that case, we was concerned about it being broken. But I think psychologically he couldn't get up for that fight. I think that was the biggest problem. But I think the fight with DeWitt is going to be a big challenge. First of all, he and Milton, this is the first common opponent that they've fought. And the fact that Milton beat him, I think Thomas wants to do something more dramatic than that, which means that he could score a sensational knockout or stand the chance of possibly being knocked out himself. As you know, the fights that he lost was simply because of his machoism, whereas Milton is a good safety-type fighter and a technical boxer. Thomas is going to go out and get involved in our exchanges, as I know, so it's going to be very interesting.
All right, they're all interested with Tommy Hearns, that's for sure. Well, we appreciate the visit from Emanuel Steward and from Bob Arum. And we will now close out this ringside report by going to my buddy, Tom Kelly.
All right, fine. Thank you, Al. Our thanks to Bob Arum and, of course, to Emanuel Steward. I want to thank all of you for joining.